Welcome back to our podcast. I'm here with Akila and Mayuri.
Hey!
Hey!
On today's topic, we're talking about climate change and the health of pregnant women.
Climate change. Where do we start?
Wait, what's changing?
The climate.
Assuming you already know what this is, I'll do a rundown of what we're seeing so far and what we'll see in the future. So we have high temperatures, melting ice caps, and sea levels that are rising. Changes now can make changes later, but more effective and larger.
So, what is the impact to pregnant women?
Well, these are more common impacts, but there's low birth weight, anemia, miscarriages, and preterm births.
So, how are pregnant women and fetuses impacted by extreme temperatures?
Heat stress may reduce blood flow to the placenta and impair placental function. This is supported by experimental animal studies, mostly seen through rats, that show that acute heat stress can reduce blood flow up to 30%. It can also decrease placental size and impair nutrient and oxygen transportation. Heat and heat shock proteins may promote tissue inflammation, which is a key trigger for labor, which may cause premature births.
So with heat stress, how are hormones, tissues, and cells affected by this?
So oxytocin is affected, and it is a hormone that actually aids against heat stress, and it can prevent one from heat stroke symptoms. The hypothalamus is also affected in that there is an increase in neural damage. There can also be hypothalamic cell damage, such as pyknosis, which is when the cell body shrinks. The placenta, as previously mentioned, has a decrease in blood flow, and cells produce heat shock proteins. So, are there any other case studies?
Yeah, there was a study in China that tracked how non-optimal temperatures affected GDM. GDM is a gestational diabetes mellitus, and it affects moms by causing cardiovascular disease later in life, and babies have a higher risk of obesity and high blood pressure. The map shows where the participants of the study in China live compared to the weather monitoring stations. The study tracked GDM diagnosis and temperature. This study showed a positive relationship between GDM and high temperatures. The scientists believe that high temperatures can trigger inflammation, which causes GDM, which is kind of crazy.
That is pretty crazy. Hello? Wait, what? We're sponsored? Okay. This video is brought to you by Budak Ramen.
How are pregnant women impacted by salinity?
So, they may face an increase in blood pressure, which is the main cause of gestational hypertension, and possibly an increased risk of preeclampsia, which is similar to hypertension. Preeclampsia is believed to be caused by the placenta not developing properly, and a symptom of it is dysfunction in the liver.
There was something similar in coastal Bangladesh. A study tested how salinity affected the health of pregnant women. Due to increase of sea level, tidal waves and storm surges increased the amount of salt and water in crop soil in coastal Bangladesh. The people living in this region drank groundwater during the winter because of the lack of rain. As you can see in the chart, people drinking from shallow ground intaked as much as 16.4 grams of sodium per day, and the recommended sodium intake is only 2 grams per day. The study examined the prevalence of gestational hypertension in hospitals over multiple seasons while also measuring salinity. Both the salinity and the amount of pregnant women with hypertension rose and fell according to the season. During the winter, pregnant women had a higher chance of being hospitalized due to hypertension because of the high levels of sodium intake. So, how is temperature and salinity getting worse?
Well, naturally, salt's found in the soil due to weathering and closeness to the ocean, but increased salinity is getting worse, which is caused by high temperatures, seen in our climate change slide, and then also water evaporating the soil, seen in the photo up top.
When people talk about climate change, they don't normally talk about certain sensitive demographics. It's important to bring awareness to these underrepresented topics. This is why we had to slow down or even reverse the effects of climate change.
On that note, clubs like the University of Maryland chapter of the American Conservation Coalitions are working towards creating a more sustainable world.
Bye, y'all!